Hey guys, Roman Reaper here, just back with a quick little video. So I'm outside the cinema right now, but to head in and go and see Fall, which I'm quite looking forward to. It's a good sort of fun, simple, like contained little thriller on top of a radio tower. You know, definitely not the best if you've got a fear of heights, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good bit of escapist, switch your brain off kind of fun. You know, the big screen's made for, but so yeah, I'm gonna head in. Showing starts in about 10 minutes. I'll get my snacks, get my seat, we'll see Fall. Bloody hell. Right, so yeah, I got my popcorn, frozen Fanta, ready to watch Fall. So yeah, just got back from seeing Fall. So now the last couple of films I watched have been like more like serious, sort of like grounded and character driven sort of films. Like I Used to Be Famous, which I reviewed and really enjoyed, and Licorice Pizza, which I watched yesterday but didn't upload a review of here just because it's been out for a while. So yeah, but I absolutely loved that film. So you know, it's sort of refreshing in a way to go to the cinema and just switch my brain off for a couple of hours on a fairly simple sort of thriller. Film follows two friends, Becky and Hunter, a year after a tragedy has struck, and they get together to climb an abandoned TV tower, the fourth largest structure in the United States, as a way to help get over the events of a year prior, and inevitably it goes wrong. Part of the ladder falls off and they're left stranded at the top of this tower with no way of getting help, no food, limited resources, the lack of oxygen at that height, and a pack of vultures circling around the tower. This can only end well. So, as I said just now, this is a very simple sort of thriller. You don't need to think too long and hard about. Obviously, you know that there is a fair amount of dumb stuff in here, and that you know there's probably several laws of physics being broken. But you know, if you go along with it for what it is a pretty good, simple little contained story with obviously a fair amount of suspenseful sequences. And the film helps get that feeling of suspense by, you know, using the cinematography to its advantage to capture the landscape. You know, just capturing the vast barren desert, and it uses a lot of like aerial view shots and drone shots to, you know, to really capture that vastness of the desert and the insignificance of the characters in relation to that desert, to really, like, you know, create the suspense and the feeling of that height. It's kind of undermined in places by some like kind of ropey green screens. Obviously, you know, they didn't do the stuff for real. Like, it's not a Tom Cruise film, but you know, obviously for safety reasons, they had to use like green screens and sound stages, and it does kind of show in places. Like there's some noticeable green screens. Like there's a very obvious one early on as a character falls to their death, and for any time the characters like are falling, that's when you kind of notice that it's green screens. But but the film does use a fair amount of like actual on location cinematography, especially in its wide shots. Yeah, to sort of like ground it a bit, and help the audience, feel that what they're witnessing is actually a bit more real, and to be a bit more suspenseful. And it helps as well. The characters are fairly likable. Obviously they're not the most like unique set of characters, but particularly Becky does at least get a bit of character development and an actual arc, and does grow and change over the course of the film. And Grace Caroline Curry, who, yes, you'll probably recognise her from Shazam. Ironically, as I left the screening, the Shazam 2 trailer was playing in the foyer. She sells Becky's arc very well, and she essentially acts as like the emotional anchor of the film, and sort of the audience's eye into this, because obviously throughout the film you're probably thinking, nope. She's thinking it with you, so Virginia Gardner as Becky's friend Hunter was pretty fun. Obviously she's like, more of like an accessory to Becky's character development, but she does get a few like layers added to her character, and some slightly like darker secrets that come through over the course of the runtime. But for the most part, she's also like this very like fun-loving, thrill-seeking YouTube star. Obviously plays up her this persona for the internet, and yeah, she is pretty fun. And of course, the contrast between these two characters is pretty fun, and allows for proper real chemistry to for us to believe that these two are in fact lifelong friends. There's a pretty decent score, which helps enhance some of the suspenseful scenes, but it's not like it's not like there's like the only card it plays. It puts these characters in very desperate scenarios. As their methods get more and more desperate over the course of the film, it gets more serious, and because we're like basically mostly only following these two on top of the tower, you sort of feel that desperation yourself. And to the film's credit as well, despite the fact it is a fairly obviously predictable sort of story, and the whole setup as to the film has put in place before to get them to the tower is obviously pretty hokey, but once it gets there, the suspense does pick up, and to the film's credit, there's actually a pretty decent twist towards the end of the film. You may or may not see it coming, but it definitely was a neat little surprise. The film sort of wraps up in a kind of rushed manner. Like it kind of feels like there's scenes like missing, and it feels like it is kind of rushing to like end. Definitely a couple more minutes would have benefited, just to sort of allow it to flow a bit better with everything else that we've just seen. yeah, all in all, that was Fall. You know, it's a decent little sort of simple, switch your brain off, mostly single location sort of thriller. You know, it's a old school, simple little film that, you know, get your pulse racing a bit, get your increase the speed of your breath, and yeah, it's definitely going to get the best experience possible. Maybe definitely check it out on the big screen if you can. Like, I mean, it's probably showing in obviously not a lot of locations, and the showing I was at today, there's about 3 other people, so I don't know if it'll be in cinemas much longer, but yeah, all in all, I'm gonna give Fall a 7 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Fall? What do you think of it? Could you maybe see this like existing, like, you know, back in the day of the old school B movie? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.